Okay, thank you for joining us today. My name is Scott Mum, and I'm the Senior Sales Manager of the Global Accounts team at RTP Company. I'll be joined by my colleagues, Al Hickok and Derek LaRock. We appreciate you taking the time to learn more about RTP Company, our philosophy, thermoplastic solutions. We will also discuss the supply challenges and several case studies of RTP solutions in the appliance market. Let's get started. First, a little bit about RTP Company. Many people know RTP Company as a global compounder of custom engineered thermoplastics with approximately 1,600 employees and over 700 million in sales, also 20 facilities globally. Unlike some of our competitors, we are an independent, privately held global company. We think this is important, and here's why. As an independent company, we can objectively choose raw materials and formulate solutions to meet your application's specific technical and economic requirements. Being privately held is also important. Rather than making short-term decisions to meet quarterly goals, we're able to take a longer-term view when making decisions. And finally, being global, we are committed to serving our customers all over the world, well into the future. Whether you need a very specific compound or an unfilled resin for your application, we work in every thermoplastic resin system with hundreds of reinforcements, modifiers, and additives to develop the right solution for you. We sell more than 9,000 different types of compounds each year in pellet, sheet, and film form. And of these, roughly 20% are formulated new each year. At RTP Company, it's about the people. We are best known for providing creative thermoplastic solutions. With years of experience to draw on, we enjoy meeting with our customers to understand their needs fully so we can formulate the right solution and scale it up quickly. We have approximately 70 product development engineers globally who are ready to support your thermoplastic needs. Our goal is to provide you with the best solution for your application. We make every effort to provide you with optimal thermoplastic solutions that are neither over nor under engineered. We pride ourselves in manufacturing your thermoplastic compounds consistently from plant to plant, and we offer global support to ensure that we can provide you with the right thermoplastic solution when and where you need it. You can purchase in flexible volumes ranging from bags to gaylords to bulk, either truck or rail car. We understand the unique requirements of a diverse set of markets, each of which rely on us to provide outstanding solutions to their application challenges. Our markets can be found in everything from toothbrush handles to complex aerospace applications. We are a very well-kept secret for many large companies. In fact, we provide the thermoplastic technology behind some of the most famous brands in the world. Today, we're going to focus on our work in the appliance industry. Thanks for listening. I'll now turn it over to my colleague, Al Hickok, who will discuss the current supply challenges we're all facing. Al?
Thank you, Scott. Again, my name is Al Hickok. I'm a sales engineer with RTP, and we appreciate the opportunity to be presenting to you today. Specifically, I'm going to be covering, as Scott mentioned, the state of our industry, namely the raw material shortage that is impacting all of us. And then I'll cover a little bit on material selection process that we go through when working with appliance manufacturers. And then I'll hand off to Derek LaRock, who will finish us up with some case studies. So I think the topic on everyone's mind is the raw material shortage. Again, it's impacting every one of us to some level. And kind of start with the question of how did we get here? How did this all happen? How did we get into this position that we're in? If you look at where the economy was at pre-pandemic, things were going very well. The economy was rolling. Raw material costs were at all-time lows, and things were going very well with the economy. The pandemic hit, and a lot of the reaction from suppliers was to slow down production, slow down inventory, and mainly that was because of the uncertainty of what was going to happen. And then the fall of 20, we had some weather impact that also impacted the situation. Namely, in the fall of 2020, there was a very heavy hurricane season, and as most of you know, a lot of raw materials are made in the South, in particular in Texas. So that slowed down production as well. And then we rounded the corner into 2021, and we had the horrible winter storm that hit Texas, which impacted a lot of major raw materials, namely the polypropylene market, which was absolutely devastated for over a month as a result of that Texas storm in February. This was all happening right as we were starting to come around a little bit on the pandemic, which was spurring on consumer demand at an unprecedented level. So essentially, it was a perfect storm of conditions of low supply, low inventory, and extremely high demand coming out of consumers. So based on these setbacks, if you look at what the current state is of our market, the raw material suppliers continue to struggle to recover from the losses that they had through the winter storm, the hurricane, and the consumer demand, which some thought might just be a spike, has continued to remain very high. And the outlook for that demand is also going to remain high for the foreseeable future. When you combine the raw material shortages with the high demand, and now we have a manpower shortage across many markets, in particular the manufacturing sector, we also have transportation issues, trucking, rail cars, boats are off the docks trying to get into the country. It's become a real mess. And as a result of that, the outlook for the future is not great in the short term. When you look at the backlog of orders that we have that we are not able to meet for our customers, that backlog alone tells you that this is going to continue to be a problem well into 2022, if not through 2022. Some industries are even predicting beyond that before we can really get back to where we need to be. So what is RTP company doing to respond to this? For us, it starts with communication. Even though we might not always have the best news to give our customers, we feel like the open line of communication is critical so they can react to how much material they'll be receiving, when they'll be receiving it. We also acknowledge that with the inability for some companies to meet in person, we've reacted by implementing Teams and Zoom calls to do anything from reviewing applications to R&D to training with customers. R&D still has to continue to move forward at some level, and we need to be there for our customers. So we're reacting the best way that we possibly can to keep in front of our customers. We've also been encouraging our customers since early in the year to make sure they have purchase orders in place 3 to 6 months out. Forecasting has never been more important. Majority of our customers have POs in place well into 2022 already, so that we can do the best job we can in planning to meet their needs best we possibly can to avoid or at least minimize shortages. The third area we look at is at RTP, we're trying to look at alternate materials. The supply chain has been impacted. All base resins to some level have been impacted with long lead times, but some are worse than others. So if there are opportunities for us to switch someone to a different base resin, a different formulation altogether, that would help improve their situation, that's something we're focused on. One quick example of that is something we've been doing for a lot of years in many industries, namely the automotive industry. If we have customers that, for example, are using a short glass reinforced nylon today, we can replace that with a long fiber reinforced polypropylene. And it has many advantages. It creates a lighter part. It's easier to mold. In many cases, it can be lower price. So there's a lot of advantages to making this conversion. And this has been done in many markets. Again, as mentioned, the automotive market kind of leading the way in that. So these are just an example of the type of ideas we like to throw out to our customers when they're struggling with either performance or, in this case, raw material shortages. So now I'll talk a little bit about material selection, specifically in the appliance industry. Where we tend to start out with our customers, as our engineers say it, is what does the product need to do and what environment does it need to live in? Specifically, what that means is what are the strength requirements, impact, does it have a wear resistance component to it? How about chemical resistance? What temperature is it going to be in? Is there a flammability requirement? ESD, is there a potential for static buildup on the surface of this part that might shock a user, shut down a system? And then, of course, as always, we need to know the aesthetics. Is this a part that's going to be visual or is it going to be hidden? And color match is something we can do on any one of our materials as well. So we take that into consideration also. So these are the questions we start with in talking to our customers. And then at RTP, we don't jump to the conclusion that we have one right answer out of the gate. We like to go forward with multiple materials that have strengths and weaknesses, pros and cons to them, so the customer has a choice as they go through development. For this reason, it's really key that RTP engineers get involved in programs as early on in the development process as possible, so we can help with this. We also encourage our customers to look at all costs. Most look directly at dollars per pound, but when you consider specific gravity, we might be able to sell you something that's more expensive, but lighter weight that can ultimately save you money. Maybe it can reduce scrap. Bottom line is we like to look at the entire cost picture when we're reviewing applications with our customers. Another component to look at is logistical. If it's a product that's already in production, are you having logistical problems today? Are you importing the material, whereas we could provide a local support, for example? Safety stock. Are you having issues with running out of material? If we keep some safety stock for you, will that help you in case of emergencies? Other areas we'd look at where we can provide value to our customers. And then we look at this total package. We're trying to put together formulations that balance that performance and cost. As anyone in the appliance industry knows, it's a very cost competitive marketplace. And while we can develop a formulation that we know will work perfectly, if it's too expensive for the product, it's not going to go forward. So we need to keep cost in mind as a variable at all times. The last component is regulatory. Our team at RTP, our team of engineers, in particular our flame retardant group, is very knowledgeable in the UL regulatory requirements. Things like elevated RTI, if you haven't been familiar with that, for example, is a test that takes about 12 to 18 months to complete and is very expensive. So if you don't have those completed when starting an application with a customer, it's going to take a long time to get through that process. At RTP, we have over 700 yellow cards to help support our customers with many options as we go forward. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Derek, who's going to go through some of the commonly used materials that we have applied into the appliance market. Over to you, Derek.
All right, thanks, Al. So as Al just covered here, all the ways in which we work through the steps to determine what's going to be the appropriate material and for applications in the appliance industry, oftentimes we end up landing on the list of products here that I'll go through is what we see as more of the common materials in this industry. The first resin highlighted or that we'd like to highlight here is polypropylene. This is a great fit for the appliance industry. It offers excellent chemical resistance, relatively low cost material, and its ability to incorporate fillers, reinforcements, or different enhancements makes it a good fit to be able to manipulate it to whatever the application demands. At RTP, we've got a comprehensive portfolio of polypropylene solutions for the appliance industry. This consists of glass reinforced grades and/or with mineral or talc. We can also incorporate flame retardant additives depending upon the agency requirements that your specific product or application may have. And not just in regards to flame retardant materials, but across all of them, we have extensive UL listings, as Al mentioned, and we have a complete portfolio available with elevated RTIs available, flame ratings if needed, and also the F3 and F4 compliance for resistance to attack by detergents, whether it be in clothes washers or dishwashers. Another common material that we see in the appliance industry is ABS. It offers a highly cosmetic part, a good solution for those types of applications. It's got high gloss, it's easily colorable, and provides good impact resistance as well. So it fits the needs of something that you would see as highly cosmetic or something you want to stand out and look good. And then there's components that may be hidden more or require more strength or rigidity within your parts. That's where nylon comes in as a good fit. We can introduce glass fiber as a reinforcement, be able to provide a strong, stiff part, and still a fairly economical solution to those needs as well. So in all three of these resin categories, we have an extensive product offering at RTP Company to provide your needs for whatever they may be. So those are some of the more common materials we see, and within those, we often see that custom coloring is required. Every OEM is going to have a specific color or color palette that they like to utilize. We have a very experienced color lab team that can formulate colors in all of these resins to match whatever color profile would be desired. So these are some of the more common materials that we see. I'm going to go through some of the materials that and applications that might be outside of that. So something that's going to require some other type of enhanced material solution outside of the standard grades you may see used elsewhere. And this is a good example of when partnering with RTP company. We've got an extensive group of engineering resources that all work together to help solve problems or create new products or technologies, depending on these applications and what they're going to need. First one here, we've all dealt with static electricity, and unless you're trying to get your hair to stand on end, it's usually something that we don't appreciate or desire. And no different in this situation where this coffee grinder, or the maker of this coffee grinder, started noticing they're having issues and complaints where the coffee grounds would start to stick to the outside of the housing and not be able to be utilized or cleaned well. So working within the parameters of the existing material that they had and were experiencing the issue, and knowing the performance requirements, this would have to go through a dishwasher, experience different temperature ranges. We were able to work together with them and their engineering team to come up with a material solution that would not only maintain all of those properties and characteristics of the existing product they had developed, but also introduce another additive that would allow it to dissipate that energy and electricity to prevent that static buildup. The next one here is an application that provides an example of how our unbiased approach to materials and selections allows us to help direct you to the right material. And sometimes it may not require an RTP product or an extensive amount of additives introduced. This example here, customer was looking for a more greener solution, and in working with them to find that, it led us to our distribution arm, which is ResMart, and their ability to provide neat resins and their product offering that they have available provided the perfect fit for this situation. This is with the EcoZen material shown here. This is a copolyester PETG with some bio-based content incorporated into it as well. And it's free of BPA. So these enhanced environmental benefits were a great plus for them, but it also had to perform well in the application. So the impact resistance and the clarity of this blender and pitcher were critical here. The team at ResMart was able to promptly supply samples for validation and prove the excellent clarity and impact resistance that this application needed, along with that brand enhancement benefit they were looking for. The next one here covers a rooftop AC unit. So metal is known for being a loud, noisy, it can be heavy, and it's something that's historically been in the appliance industry, and as time goes on, we see more metal being transitioned to thermoplastic materials. And that's something that we see quite often in the appliance or HVAC industry, is the desire for noise reduction. Nobody likes to have a noisy dishwasher or hear their air conditioning unit from inside their house. So this application was a good example of that, trying to reduce the weight and the noise of this product. And this one proved to be a more complex process than some of the others that we've discussed. Had pretty demanding environment that this would need to perform and live in. It had to be robust to take any potential damage from the outdoor elements, and it also needed to have good strength to it to keep its form and also withstand load of different components being attached to it. So we worked alongside with our customers' engineering team and design teams to help develop something that would meet all of those requirements, and ended up leading to polypropylene and ASA blended material that worked out to meet all of their needs of a lightweight, quiet, and aesthetically pleasing part. So there's special care that needs to be taken anytime you're converting metal components into plastic. And we have a large group of engineering resources dedicated to help work on those types of transitions, and have done it many times before. And this was another good example of that. The last application I wanted to cover is for a home security system housing. So the need for compliance to industry standards is critical, and it's a very important part of the product development process. Most times there is some type of industry requirement that's going to dictate what this product needs to do and what type of ratings it may need to have, or regulatory body that is going to have some say on how it performs. And this was a situation where the product needed a refresh to meet an upcoming regulation change that was going to require an elevated flame rating over what the existing application and product had required. So we worked with this customer to help develop a compound that would not only maintain the high aesthetics and high impact that was needed for this home security system housing, but also introduce a product that's going to have the higher desired flame rating for this application. So we were able to incorporate those flame retardant additives to give it the stringent 5VA rating that it needed. And in doing that, anytime adding different combinations of additives into resins, it requires a delicate balance to make sure you're highlighting the best part of each of those properties that you're introducing. And our engineering teams have the experience to help not only navigate through that, but educate as to what that demand and what that need is, so we can end up on the right material selection. And at RTP, we really encourage and enjoy partnering with our customers. We find that the quickest path to success is a partnership and a collaborative effort through every step of the process. So it starts with us listening and understanding what the needs are of our customers and their product that they may be working on or developing. From there, we work with them to provide the best solution possible. So whether that might be standard grade we have available, or requires a new development or a new technology, we're there to help support that. We strive to deliver the best solution for their application, regardless of what that material is going to end up being, as far as the base resin or what additives need to be incorporated. And the collaboration also doesn't end right there. So we don't just hand off a material and say good luck. We have dedicated teams in CAE and technical service engineers who are our in-house molding experts. So we can help with that introduction, with that new tool build, or converting to a different material. We want to be there to help you, support you through every step of the process, from design to production. And we truly enjoy that. So that's all I had and we had for everyone today. We thank you again for your time, and we hope to be talking to you in the future.